Hello all, this is Zimnala coming at you with another adventure in the Kingdom of Thornwood. We're going to be picking up where we left off last time in the middle of the game showcase for the modded version of Shining in the Darkness known as Darkness Edition. We had basically just defeated the Kaiser Crab, we had gained our party members, and now we're gonna see what we can give them for equipment. We are going to be taking our time and basically going through and seeing which items different characters can use and some other stuff. So this may end up being a little bit of a protracted adventure from someone that was just playing their way through. But since this is a modded version, there's no way to get like solid information unless the mod developer just releases a full listing of it, other than experimentation, and that won't come out in time for me to play through it probably, so I'm just gonna kinda be doing that most likely. So yeah. So I'm gonna be selling some of the stuff we've got. So I'm going to sell the weapons that they have to begin with. And I'm going to buy a bronze saber for Pyra, so that they can have a good chance of killing enemies too. That'll make the beginning a little bit easier. I am gonna end up buying a version of each weapon along the way just to see who can and can't wear it. And to make sure that the values for what they do haven't changed, you know? Yeah, without further ado, we're gonna head into the dungeon and do a little bit. We don't have enough gold to really get them much more equipped, but the weapon is always more important than the armor, and these characters actually do level up their defense quite a bit faster than the main character, so it won't be a problem for very long. Regardless of what we do, so once they gain a few levels, it'll be fine. Now it is worth noting that Milo can't actually hurt them at all, but at least Pyrus should be also killing enemies along with us, so we're at least able to kill 2 per round. So yeah, we will get Milo a better weapon, don't you worry. We just have to get a little gold to get what we want. Which for him is going to end up being that wood staff for a while. So as long as we don't get ambushed by multiple of the dark jellies, we'll be pretty okay. Even then we might still be okay, because they do only target one person at a time, and at least 2 of our characters should be able to do enough damage to kill some of them, so. We're also gaining levels fairly rapidly, so it will rapidly just not be a problem. We'll be able to heal soon and get out of the danger zone. And we're absolutely gonna use our herbs over any amount of spells currently. Look at it just continuing to hand us herbs. Like, that's gonna make it pretty easy to explore this area. Okay, yeah, we can go a little deeper. We can... Well, maybe that's gonna slow us down a little. I guess Milo could use some equipment for defense because he didn't actually gain the boost to it that Pyra did. Nor does he have the equipment that the main character has, so yeah. So as for what I'd get him, I would get him a leather shield, and I will get him one of the hoods. So that will be 395. So once we get to 395, we'll be good to do that. That'll be my first target for getting back to town. And that should give us the leeway to fully explore this first area with impunity. If he's gonna be hit for 8 regularly, that's not going to work, so... I mean, the levels up will help it. But it's gonna take a few levels up before that does get fixed. In the meantime, we'll use up our herbs and that'll be fine. Yep, this is the first real potential threat. But at least it doesn't do more damage depending on your armor, so I guess there is that. How are we doing? Yeah, we're making progress. So we still have 2 herbs, that's fine. And we have all of our initial MP, which isn't that many casts of it, but it is a couple casts to heal as well. They do seem to want to target Milo, though, which is unfortunate, because he's the only one that would take damage from this. But the levels up are going to mitigate that a bit. And of course the herbs. If I get herbs at this pace, it might not matter what happens. We might just be fine. We do have an emergency return to town anyway. So. I'll just poke along till it's a problem. I do think that by far and large the only real threat is probably the spell casting dark jellies in this first area. But yeah, my only real goal is to go through it once and basically map out the parts that we had skipped past last time to beat the boss. At least combining together, they can take out a dark jelly. Although if she gains a few levels, I think Pyra can also do it. She's just a little bit behind on the damage needed. Yeah, please don't surprise us when you can cast spells. I'd be very appreciative if you didn't do that. Yeah, we might have made it past the tipping point where it was a problem, so... We're certainly going to get him equipped, but it's less of a danger at this particular second now than it was before. And there is a few herbs between here and the end of this first area, so we'll get more healing along the way as well. Oh, did I get turned around? That's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't really want to face that many of you guys. No, thank you. At some point I got spun around, it's fine. We're doing okay. does seem likely that we've reached the point where the monkeys can't really hurt us too much, so... At least that enemy is off the table for being a problem. And this will put us back in the big chamber. Yeah, it'll just be the dark jellies now. Although maybe the other last couple enemies can do a little damage to him. 6 isn't too bad. It was at 10 for a while, and that was where the problem was at. Yeah, 4 is fairly manageable. We will definitely target the killer bees first, though. They can potentially poison us. Although running does also mitigate that risk. Yeah, we don't want to fight 4 of you if we don't have to. 3 is a little bit more manageable. The other one might run anyway. It didn't, but that's fine. That's less damaging than its spell casting would have been. These guys could probably also melee him decently hard, so... Well, that works. Of course you're targeting poor Milo. You guys are mean. Well, another herb will help. And the herbs are pretty much keeping pace with the damage we're taking so far, so we haven't had to worry too much about it. You could literally attack anyone else, but you aren't, so there's that. If we get to level 12 on Pyro, we can just, like, teleport back to town without using the Angel or Feather. It's still a good idea to keep one on you, in case you run low on magic points and you don't realize it. That is where the crab is at. This is where the last treasure chest is. Cool. I'll take 100 gold. That'll help a little bit. Oh, you can cast level 1 blast? That's new information. Interesting. Look at you, doing new things. That doesn't mean it couldn't do it in the other version I played, it just means I didn't see it. So it's probable it had it as an option, I just didn't sit around letting it attack me that way. But yeah, we can mosey our way back and see if we can't walk out of here the same way we walked in. It's probably fine. Look at you poisoning them and confirming that they can be poisoned. Okay. Suppose we should get rid of the poison, huh? Well, these guys can cast an attack spell, so I guess we should take them out first. These guys can cast slow last I checked, so that is something they could do. But slow is actually not a dangerous skill. Most of the time. Because usually it's just a waste of their turn. There's quite a few of them. If we get unlucky, they could hit Milo for a lot of damage. But I guess they could just run away and not do anything. That's also an option, apparently. Fighting that many spellcasters might be a little bit of a thing we don't currently want to do. We are doing a lot of damage to Milo, which is not what we want. Well, I'd say we're now about halfway out. If I had to put a number to it. So we don't actually have to return to town immediately. We can actually open that door and fight some of the next level enemies a little bit until they force us back. But, you know, we also don't have to. We could just pop in and get a better weapon. See what we can grab real quick. I mean, we are here, so I guess that is the better thing. Let's just do it while we're here. So because we have a decent amount of disposable funds, I'm gonna actually do a bit of a tour on items. So Wooden Club is one he can use, from what I remember, but Pyra can't use it. But Milo can use it. Okay. Short Sword is that one that Pyra can wear. She can. So I am going to actually give that to Milo and see if Milo can wear it. This is also a weapon that we skipped. Yeah. No, we didn't skip it. We actually tried it. But I wanted to make sure that he could also wear it. So that is still equal across from what I remember. Okay. Now we don't actually want either of them. So I know he can use this, but I want to see if Pyra can wear it. Nope. Can I wear it? Nope, we cannot. I do have to give it to him just to see if it has the same value as the original one. So that is 15. That is correct. That is the normal one that I remember. You do get 75% of your gold back, so this isn't a complete and total waste, but information is always more valuable than a little bit of gold in a game, and that's what I'm going with. So I don't think he can actually use this, but I'm going to confirm. So Pyra can't use it. You can use that. Interesting, interesting. In that case, that would make it better than the wooden staff. So, do we have enough to check that too? We don't currently. Okay. So, assuming that this is 25, this is a better choice for him. It is. So, with the amount of gold I have left, I am going to equip him with some armor. I'm just going to confirm that he can't use this and that my Pyra can't use this either. Yeah, neither one can use the gauntlet. I didn't think so. Leather shield is not one that Pyra can usually use, but let's see. The answer is no. Milo can use it though. So I am also going to get him a hat. I want him to use the woven hood, but I'm going to see if the value on this is the same. Now, the main character can't use this, correct? I know Pyra can use it. I just want to confirm that. Nothing is going to be better than her current helmet though, so I'm going to actually give that to Milo. So that is 15. Is that what I have written down? It is. So that is for him. This is 6, which I think is what I also had written down for this. Correct. So if I want to get the other one for 190, I have to make at least 72 selling it. So let us see. Yes, because what I'm going to do is sell an herb then. So this is actually increased in cost since the version I played. That is just something I noticed. It was $18.50 there. It's probably fine. That's still a good value. I forgot to check when I was buying if the main character can wear it. He probably can't. I'm just going to confirm that. Sure can't. Good. I'm also going to give it to Pyra to make sure she can wear it. I believe she can. She just isn't going to. It should give 12 defense as well, so when I go to put it on, I'll find that out. And that is correct. Cool. All my information on the items so far is correct, other than some minor changes to some of the costs, of which I've noted. So we are better equipped now. I'm going to save it. And we're going to actually dive into the main part of the next area. So there's a few things we're going to check. There are new enemies here, and the crabs are going to be a different mob than the boss crab that you normally fight. They share the same name. I already know what item that they drop, but I have to confirm like what they do and what kind of equipment they give. So what I have written down is that they can cast freeze and do 2 attacks if they want to. So we might fight a couple times to see like what it can do. Because we can fight them pretty close to town, so if it hurts us a lot, we can just heal up. So 115 and 200 is the value that I had for them before, so that didn't change. So maybe it was just the beginning of the game that got rebalanced, but I'm not going to assume that so far, so I did reset my data on that. So scavengers are basically, they are recolored to be what the next level up from them would normally be. They do cast Blaze too, I believe, but I will give them a chance to do so I can confirm that. Yeah, as you can see, they did do that. I never had any more data for them, so I don't know what else they can do. If they have another ability, they might not. 53 and 51. I think that was a little chaotic and I didn't get a good read on what their EXP was, so let's go through and not write that down for a second. I do see that he uncolored them, so he must have also thought they looked pretty silly. So this is actually what they normally look like. I will be releasing the original version I did of this stream for the old version that I tried. So you'll get to see what they looked like in the version 1.4. And they were kind of off pink. They were very interesting to look at. I never had any skills that they could do, so maybe some got added as well. Let's give them a chance to do their stuff. Oh, actually, they don't get a turn. Oh well. Sucks to be them. So 80 and 80. So I think that they give me 24 and 24. That is the values that I have for the Mad Gnomes. The only information I had from them before was that they could do poison hits. So I guess I did have something that they could do. It just took a while. But it seemed weird for gnomes to do that, but it is what it is. So it did go twice. We got confirmation on them going twice. The other thing I had information on is that they could cast freeze level 2. It has not done that yet. Don't mind me, I'm just recording that down. And we will fight them until I can see whether they cast that or not. I'm pretty sure that the abilities didn't change, so we'll just give it a few tries. There we go, level 2 freeze. We got the confirmation. I just wanted to make sure. And that was the experience I had last time, so there we go. Don't mind me, I am just readjusting a few things on my list. Cool. But we shouldn't be in too much danger, I believe. Oh. So far I haven't seen evidence that it critical hits, and that would be the danger for real. But we got the confirmation on the things I wanted, so we'll mosey along and guess that that is probably what they do. I haven't had confirmation on the dark bats casting slow, but that seems likely to still be the case. I do have confirmation on them being jackasses that run away, so there's that. Well, you're probably gonna get a turn at least, so we'll get to give you a chance to do something. So show us what you got. You lunged, you attacked. You did a decent amount of damage, at least. $72 and $72. It does match the 24 and 24 I had for them. Cool. Confirm these guys can still roast us. So fancy. So cooked. they got a poison off, so that's fun. We did get it to poison though, so we will just use it. This is going to be a chest beak, so we are going to actually heal up first. I already know what item that they drop, but I am going to see if they do any abilities. We'll fight one of them, and then I will save the rest for the future when I can fight them more safely. But I want to get a confirmation on their EXP levels anyway, so I was going to fight at least one. Just so that part of the list will be complete. So it hits really hard. That's the only thing I can say about it. It didn't use any abilities though. It didn't go twice. It didn't... so it has sleep hit. That's one ability. So we have one ability for it. Confirmed. Okay, so you give 135 and 160. That seems to be what I remember them giving from the other version, so that didn't change. What's interesting is that it's less gold than the Kaiser Crab, but more EXP. So I'm gonna base this on EXP on which one is the stronger enemy for the region. For the sake of order in my list, basically. It's still very debatable who is the harder enemy, so. That's very subjective. Don't mind me, I'm also just mapping it fully, so. If I make weird turns, that'll be why. And if I come across any treasure chests, I'm not going to open anymore for the reason I already said, which is, one, we don't really need the items in them, but also two, they might have chest beaks, and I'm going to save those for later when I can better document what abilities that they have more fully. Because we will have to come back anyway if we want to pick up the items behind, say, the prison door or the mystic rope. So we'll have another opportunity to check it out later. So any enemies that are too fast or are hard to tank long enough to get any raid on will be explored later. Because I make a note of that on my list too when I don't feel like I have gotten enough information to properly determine them. Well, you decided not to roast us, so I will appreciate that. You got poison off on us, huh? Really would have preferred if they hadn't done that, but we don't get what we want sometimes. 78 and 74. Yeah, I realized that I didn't actually get their values yet, so give me a second. See if I can sort that out. Nope, I don't remember exactly how many I fought, so I'm not gonna try. We'll have more opportunities, they'll keep attacking us. Alright, someone did get poisoned. But yeah, I basically spent a second figuring out if I had lost count of them. I did. if you can't trust the data off of the cuff, don't try too hard to stick to it. That's my advice. Just wait till it happens again. It's better to have no data than bad data, in my opinion. There we go. This will be an easy chance for getting their information. Mixed groups are kind of more of a pain in the ass anyway, so... So 21 and 19. Yep, but no, the treasure chests are not opening right now. This place is going to take a little bit to properly map because there's extra room. The little bit I remember about these Dark Hermits is that the only thing that I saw them do was cast spells on us, which was actually kind of annoying. Neanderthal, I had no information on what they did. So I'm actually going to focus on the spellcasters. I'm also not going to be able to get their values for either of these guys because of what they have going on, because there's two groups we don't have data on. So that is a confirmation that that they do cast Blaze 1, which is what I had written down for them. The other note that I had for them is that they don't seem to have a normal attack, which was interesting. I didn't realize a normal attack was a flag because most enemies don't do it, but now that I think about it, that must be the case because some enemies never try to do anything but, like, say run or something like that, so I should make a note when an enemy doesn't have an attack. If I notice it. Yeah, because the fact that they won't attack would mean that they only ever cast their spell. Which is actually worse for us because their spell bypasses damage, defense, so you end up taking more damage from it. Oof. But I've never seen the Dark Hermits ever do anything other than cast, so I do rather suspect that their attack has been removed. But I don't really see the point in letting them try more. I've seen it enough times. These guys are hitting us pretty hard. I'll give them that. It is also true that our main hero could also use somewhat of an armor increase as well. Oh, that's right, I only went over here to get this part mapped. So this is actually a dead end. I think it leads to a couple treasure chests, but we're not going to collect them. But I'm still going to map it. Yeah, this is also probably not going to be like completed on this first entry into this, so don't get too antsy about that. This is more of an exploratory and information gathering mission. I didn't have either one of their entries put in for values, so I'm not gonna try too hard to get them there. Same thing here, we don't have data on these guys. But the one thing I do have written for them is that they can critical attack, so they're actually pretty dangerous for this region. Because they hit hard and they can critical hit. This is going to give us a good read on these at least. $78 and $75. So the gold is easy, that's just 25. Which would mean the other one is just one more, which is 26. So this would actually move them up in the listing a little bit, so I'm gonna maneuver them. So this would put them higher than the Mad Gnomes. There we go. Cool. So this is one we don't have a listing for either. I didn't have any data for what they could do though, so I am gonna at least moderately try to give them a chance to do something. They hit reasonably hard though. I'll give them that. $69, $66. So they have 27 EXP. And 28 gold, so yeah, they're a jump up in both directions. And they're still in the same spot on the listing. Now we probably want to heal up a bit, that's probably a good idea. They are more dangerous than the monkeys, so we should probably at least try to kill them faster. We are going to get forced back to town because they are hitting us reasonably hard. But that's fine, we probably have a decent amount of gold to play with too now. Or at least enough for some upgrades. So far the only one I don't have a value for at this point would be the Dark Hermit and the Cave Goblin from what we've encountered. And that's really been more of a matter of opportunity because they keep coming at us in mixed groups. But now that we have the values for the other ones, we can kind of figure it out from the mixed groups, so. So it's a puzzle that solves itself if you just follow along with it. How are we looking? 2,000? Yeah, that'll give us a little bit to play with. Not to like fully get decked out or anything, but it gives us options. So yeah, we're gonna kill a couple of these. Okay, what did we end up with? 102 and 94. So they give us 22 gold. That part's easy. They give us 25 EXP. So yeah, this does shake up where they are on the list from where they were at in the previous version. They are going to... Yeah, so maybe he did notice that they were a little bit harder than their EXP was giving them, so... This would put them between the Mad Gnome and the Neanderthal, which makes sense because you encounter them deeper than you encounter them, so this is now much closer to being the order in which you encounter them anyway. So I do approve of the EXP scaling here. So it is worth noting that our level is going to be pretty close to the normal, so running is going to be pretty difficult from some of these mobs coming up, so you probably are going to have to come back a few times because the Triclops will drain a lot of your materials, your mana. So make sure you have an Angel Feather. It's pretty easy to run out without of MP when you're fighting the Triclops. So make sure you've got a way out, is my recommendation. The other thing you can do is, like I've been doing, try to have one of your spellcasters use up all of their mana. I recommend Milo, so that at least half of their draining attempts are completely wasted, as best as you can. That's the only other thing you could potentially do to mitigate it. So Skeletars are a recolored version of the other one. The normal ones are bone white, these guys are solid green. So it is worth noting that this is a penalty area, so it's got mobs from the end of this dungeon a little earlier than you would normally face them. So these are going to be a little rougher than the ones we are facing up there. That being said, the one thing I remember these guys having a claim of fame is that they could potentially poison you on hit from the main game, but that The only other thing that they had going on is that they hit pretty hard. So, we'll see what they do here. I never had anything written for them though, because I didn't have confirmation on it. So, 40 and 28. Or was that 38? 40 and 38, I think. I'll try to get confirmation on that, but I know that the EXP part's correct. I'm gonna pick this one up so I don't have to come down here looking for it, and it is just a healer fruit. I remembered that one from my last run through. Now, pumpkin heads don't normally show up in this hallway from what I remember. And my experience from them so far in the other version is that they just run. They have an ability that's even more likely to let them run, which is the warily backs away, so yeah. They have two versions of run, and that's kind of funny. Now vampires, I didn't have anything written for these guys because they didn't do anything other than paralyze. I guess I had that written for them, which does make them mildly more dangerous than the Skeletars, but they do still hit pretty hard as well. But the ability to paralyze on hit does make them pretty dangerous. Oh, well, that's not good. Well, that is our first death of the playthrough. I mean, as I said, these guys are harder than the normal enemies we would face at this point, so we were taking a risk anyway. But we should be able to beat this and escape. So we are gonna have to go back in there to map that out still. We didn't quite finish it. We'll take a nap, just the two of us. It's slightly cheaper than having all three of us. It's a savings of 10, but I mean, when you get resurrected, you get fully healed anyway, so. Well, there's our penalty fee for dying. It's much less than party wiping, though. So where are we at with our gold? So we don't have anything that we're gonna buy as an upgrade for weapon-wise. So I guess it's just all armor. So the first thing I'm gonna do is sell some of the stuff that I'm not gonna want to use. This is just a level 2 heal. We don't need a wisdom seed, so that's more money back. Yeah, so we would be using our basic armor for the most part, so like we can start getting some better stuff. So we're gonna confirm a few things. Like one, we already know that who can use this. So we have one of these. I'm gonna confirm who can use the bronze shield. So I know that our main character can. I think Milo can as well. Pyra cannot wear it. Milo can wear it. We're going to also confirm what the main Gosh can be used by. So Pyra probably cannot use it. No. I'm going to confirm that Milo can use it. Yes. Now we're going to confirm stats on these. So this is 25. That was what I had written down for it, so that's a pretty decent increase. Now what I had noted from the previous version was that the main Gosh has the same defense and is cheaper, so that it may be worth pointing out again that there's no reason to buy the bronze shield because the same people that can wear it can also wear a main Gosh, and as you can see it is just a straight increase in attack as well. So yeah, I do recommend either tuning down the main Gosh's defense factor or tuning up the defense factor on the bronze shield, or changing the prices. Like maybe make the bronze shield cheaper, make it like 600 instead of more than the main Gosh. I don't know. You can figure out how you want to balance it, but I will note that the way it currently is there's no reason to ever use the bronze shield over the main Gosh to get a benefit. And the reason why I prioritize the main Gosh over any other form of armor for these characters is because it's also attack. That's the only thing. Like, killing enemies faster is the one thing that mitigates damage the most. So it was a bit of a loss to determine that, but I had to confirm it. So we're gonna get rid of our gauntlet as well. So we're going to get them the main Gosh as well. So now we're going to look at armor. So we already know about these two. That's what they've been wearing. I'm going to confirm who can wear the straw robe. I already know Pyra can use it. Can the main character use it? The answer is no. Can Milo use it? The answer is a yes. That's what I suspected. So we're going to do the next armor up. So fur robe. Can Pyra wear it? She cannot. I didn't think so. I think Milo can wear it as well. Oh, cool. Wooden shield is a good item for Pyra because she can't wear the other ones. So we will end up getting that for her, but right now she's still doing better than everyone else because of that hat. So now we're going to compare the defense values of this just to see if they are what I thought. So you're at 14. I believe that's what I have written. Let's confirm that. Yep. This should be 2 more, 81. Yep, so the values are the same. Cool, cool, cool. So this is going to be a moderate upgrade for Pyra. That's probably good enough for her for now. I'm gonna go and confirm that he can also wear this. That is true. The next thing I'm gonna do is confirm that Milo could wear this. So I don't have to buy it to try it, because we already had one. That is true. I'm going to confirm whether Pyra can wear it. I believe she cannot wear it. That is true. Cool, cool, cool. So we're gonna sell the things we're definitely not going to use anyway. How is our money looking like? 800? So, yeah. Do I want to buy another piece of this? I'm gonna look at other pieces of armor just to see what's going on. So, hats. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that at this particular moment. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna go in. I am gonna buy that that special shield for Pyra, because we have just about the right amount of money for it, and we do have an upgrade for both of the other characters. Actually, this is a problem. I just realized that I don't have a better armor for Milo, so we're gonna not do that for a second. We'll do that next time we come back. So we are going to actually buy an armor for Milo. So we had the fur robe. That's not what we want to use. So from what I understand, both Milo and Pyra should be able to wear both of these, leather armor and hemp robe. But the leather armor's value should be higher, from what I know about it. So yes. I'm going to confirm that Pyra can't wear it, so I don't have to move it around. And that Milo can. Okay. I am going to give it to the main character once, just to see if they can wear it. They can. And I'm going to give it to them because of that reason, but I just had to do a full confirmation. Because Milo can also wear this fur armor, and that is fine for him. He has a higher innate value to his defense anyway, so he should be doing okay. So yeah, as you can see, Pyra is still 32 ahead of us, despite only having 2 pieces of equipment. Oh, actually, looking at it, we didn't put our main gosh on. Okay, so we're now pretty even, so we're doing okay. But if she had that shield on, she would be 20 ahead of everyone. Cool, cool. Now I am gonna take a chance to save it. Alright, and our adventure shall continue now. Once more into the breach. So if I was to guess, I'd say we have a chance of finishing up in 2 more runs into the trial, but there's still some variability to it, so I'm not gonna get pigeonholed into that. What I do know is that we should have an easier time now because our defense is much higher. If I was gonna put a number to it, I'd say that probably we're going to take about 15 to 20 damage less per hit, if my math is correct. Of course, not every enemy was actually hitting us that hard, so they would just go down to the default one. But at least getting back to where we're at is always going to be quick because I'm keeping track of where we have and haven't been. A good portion of the length of this is both documenting stuff like that and just mapping out every square. I like to do that. So don't mind that. It's fine. Look at you actually doing attack things. Unlike the first couple of times. Like, you actually did some damage to us. Good for you, Mr. Crab. Yeah, so we're going to heal up. Or at least the 2 that can use it. So at least the main character and... Oh yeah, we also increased our damage, that's true. We did get the main goshes, so at least 2 of our characters should have a decent chance at killing enemies with each attack. The main character for sure. Milo might need an assist from Pyra on some of these tougher enemies, but we are still going to give it a shot. So we did find that. Did we have vampires written down for their values? Well, I guess not. Are they vampires? They are vampires. Huh. But no, I don't have a thing listed for them, so yeah, I will fill that in as we go. The only thing I had written for them is that they can paralyze people when they attack. I really wish they wouldn't, so I mean, there's that, but... So, 96 and 102, let us see what that comes to. That's 32 EXP and 34 gold. Cool. So that doesn't change anything I know about them so far. I don't know what the other ones around them are like yet, so no use guesstimating if they've changed. Huh. May have lost track of where I was exploring it. Okay, yeah, there we are. I was thinking a little too hard on numbers. Don't mind me. I would prefer not to extend my stay down here where the Triclops live too long, because they are a pain in the ass. Yep, they sure are. Because they're also pretty fast. So that's the confirmation that they do that. 30 and 21. So they have an unusually low amount of gold on them. For this area so far, so we'll see. Unless I misread it. I don't think so, though. I'll have a chance to see it again, I'm sure. Well, at least we're out of here. They do show up later in the level. They're towards the end of it, though, so we'll have a little bit of space away from them for a minute. So cave goblins are the only ones we don't have entries for, although we don't have confirmation on the abilities of the vampire and mad gnome yet. From what I've known from them. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for that. Look at you getting surprised. That's unfortunate for you. Well, this is unfortunate for us, so easy come, easy go, huh? $84 and $85. Let us see what I can do for that. So I'm gonna want a confirmation on this, I'm not entirely sure, but what I get is 25 gold and... $29 EXP. That doesn't seem too... that seems like in line, so I do think that's probably correct, but... yeah. I admittedly have been playing it for a while. This is my second playthrough up to this point. Because the first one was on a different version of the game, so... some things are starting to blend together in my brains. Which is part of why I write it down. That way I don't have to worry about it. My fingers will tell me if I'm right. Oh boy, more Triclops. This is what we asked for. Bunch of jackasses every time. Yeah, so it's 31, it wasn't 21. That seemed like it was off, so I wanted a second look at it. Okay. Need a mystic rope to get across to the treasure behind this one right here. The other one you can walk to, but this one you need to come back later for. So this is the chance to find out what their EXP is, if we can parse it. Look at you, you gave me an ability, you poisoned with your attack. You did it. We actually didn't have that written down for them before, but we had theorized that they could do it. I'm gonna guess that the cave goblins can still critical hit. Like everything that I've written down before has been correct, so I'm gonna kind of guess that that is the case. So I think I'm gonna move the question marks off. Now I only had information written down for this little like area as well. Like the cave of strength was as far as I had played through it before. So we are quickly coming up to my knowledge of it anyway. So poison hit for the Widow Fang. $85 and $88. Take off the one Widow Fang that we had, and that is 60. So cave goblins give 30 gold, and they give 29 EXP. Is that correct? That is in fact correct. Alright. Information confirmed. So cave goblins also have a good item for us if we pick it up. But, I mean, that depends on them being nice. Oh, look at you poisoning us. That was the thing that happened. We don't have to poison on us, right? Cool. Well, we do have the spell to unpoison ourselves. So in order of what is the biggest danger. Straight up, the vampire is the straight up most dangerous, but these guys will do a lot of damage to us. The vampire could paralyze us, which would be bad news bears. Still not opening up treasure chests, but that will be done on a future adventure to this place. I was a little surprised that these guys don't like entangle you or something. That was something I would have expected that they had going for them. Oh well. I mean, I guess I shouldn't complain that they're not as difficult as they could have been, although I do like it when things are difficult, so there you go. They haven't actually done a critical hit, but I still think they could. And they get another chance to show us, but they did not. Yeah, so basically at the end of each trial, I'm going to explain how I felt about the balance of the trial that I was in compared to the other two versions I know. And we'll see how it goes. Like, I am enjoying this though. They are doing a lot of normal attacks without a critical hit, so it is making me question their ability. But, there's no reason to provoke it either, I suppose. It is somewhere between the difficulty of the base game and Battle Edition so far. It has a nice progression to the EXP though, so it is a much smoother experience that way from either version actually. A lot of the enemies have had their drop rate buffed, but most of what they drop is actually herbs and usable items, so your mileage can vary. It is kind of nice to get free healing along the way, but a lot of the time I don't end up using it. So I mean, it's nice as like a free gimme now and then, I guess. I suppose it's fine. I mean, the enemies do have a few extra things going for them. So the names haven't been changed. I haven't seen any enemies that aren't present in their areas so far. But almost all the enemies have had their coloration shifted up, so they're at least different color than normal. Some of the items in the game have new abilities attached to them, like the Morning Star, from what I remember, actually acts like a whip, like in the Battle Edition, but it does not have the negative attack bonus that the Battle Edition had, so it doesn't have a penalty, so it probably is really overpowered. But I also will reiterate that I did play through the game to this point twice, because apparently when I first played through it, I was told by the mod developer that I had an older version of the mod by one version, so I said, okay, I'll showcase the most recent one, so I'm redoing the first part of it again. I'm almost up to what I know, though. So that's why a decent part of what I've said has been, like, comparison. Yeah, like, I uploaded the first video, and the mod developer was excited, and commented, and it's like, oh no, you got the bugged previous version. So, yeah. I wanted to showcase the version of it that wasn't directly bugged. It's fine. It's fine. I got most of my data from that first one, although the values of EXP were also tweaked, which wasn't actually mentioned in that. So I guess from the time that I picked it up a month ago to now it had a new edition, which I guess is fair. Do you mean the mod differences between the base game or the mod differences between the previous version? Hello there. Because I'm actually playing through it twice. So, this game is a little bit between the difficulty of the base game and the Battle Edition, if you've seen that. So, like, these Triclops are almost always going to use their mana draining one. That's actually not as common in the base game. They're also faster than the base game, so they are going to go before your guys have a chance to attack. So they are going to drain your mana. Some of the weapons have been reshuffled. They've got different values. But the biggest thing I've noticed is that there's a bigger and better and smoother progression in level ups to stuff. So, like, the biggest thing I could say is that enemies have a little bit extra abilities. Like, a lot of the enemies can poison. A lot of them can't have a spell they can cast. These vampires can paralyze you if they had hit you, like they just did. They paralyzed my main character. So they are more dangerous. They'll take a little extra damage. Yeah, it's nothing too outrageous so far, but this is also only the first trial, so I don't know how far along that goes. I'm kind of taking my time and, like, writing down what enemies can do and what's different for my own sake, if nothing else, because there's no real documentation on details for what monsters can and can't do, because, like, they've been reshuffled. But yeah, I like what I've played so far. It is for free to download from the Shining forums. I don't have a link handy in my pocket, but there's a decent chance that the mod developer will pop in to at least the YouTube video of this and leave information in the commentary. So 75 and 50 for the EXP and gold. So from what I understand of these guys is they can do freeze level 2 and they can attack twice. They don't actually seem to be very sturdy though, so if you have decent attack like that, they're not dangerous to a major degree. These cave goblins can critical hit. That's their main claim to fame, although I haven't seen it so far this run. So let's see, enemies I'm looking for the information for. The Death Guide and the Vile Ooze are the last two enemies that I had any information on, so I want to reconfirm them. I don't believe I could get the information on the pumpkin guys, because they just run away. Like, I'm not fast enough to actually kill them at this point. Because they run away before I get a chance to attack. So there's the freeze too. I got confirmation on the ability. The thing is, I got this information on a previous version of it that was bugged. The mod developer gave me the updated version a couple hours ago, and I've replayed the beginning of this. So this is as far as I've gotten back up to, but this is as far as I'd played almost before, so after this I'll have to go a little slower and basically curate more data than I had before. That's okay. This is not a speed playthrough, this is my journey to finding it. So we got the item that they dropped, the main gosh. That's gonna be a free 700 gold for us. So that's nice. Now, unlike the Battle Edition, the prices are not nearly as inflated, but they are a little higher. So that is something to keep note of. Now the Dark Hermits actually have been buffed as well in a weird way. They no longer have an attack that is physical. So they will always cast their attack magic, which bypasses defenses. I don't actually think that was a big hurdle to new players. Not really, like, you can't actually give a map ability at the beginning of the game because the main character just can't learn magic points. That's hardwired into the game. Also, the starting area is not very big. It is less than half the size of a normal floor. Actually, you know what's hilarious? Is he actually greatly increased the price of the mapping items, the wisdom seeds. So now they cost 300 to buy, and I don't actually understand why he did that, other than it's funny. I would be curious if the mod developer did explain that, as for why that was done, because that just kind of is a bit of a mean move for players that do like the wisdom seeds very early on, but I mean, that ain't me, I don't care too much, and I figure that anyone that's gonna try the mod probably has already played the main game, so they probably do not need it as greatly. But I am curious what the rationale is. Oh, did I get the wrong person? That's unfortunate. But yeah, we're probably gonna have to return anyway. Like, those guys draining us is reducing how long our run can last. Until we're fast enough to actually kill the Triclops first. Like, these guys are gonna run. Yeah, they ran. So there's no way for me to find out what their values are, because all they do is run. But I know what they do, all they do is run. So at least their information is on screen. And all of these guys are gonna run for me as well. I mean, yeah, if it was made today, it would be something else. It would be like Etrian Odyssey, or it would be like any one of the more modern ones, but you're not gonna have that input into a game this old, unfortunately. Besides, there's a certain charm to having to write down the map on yourself. Like, that was at least half the fun for me growing up, is just the requirement for me to explore and draw where I've been, like the actual explorers of the olden days. Look at that, we got a leather robe. Okay, so this is gonna be an upgrade for people. I am going to pass this around to our friends just to see who can and can't wear it, because this is a mod hack. It can have different values for items than normal. So he can't wear it. The main hero can't wear it. I didn't think so. So that's still what I know. I think that both Milo and Pyra can wear this, but let us find out. So it's true that he can. This adds 25. This is actually not an item you can usually get until you unlock the trader, so it's not really like that strong though, so it's not like there's still better options for us to buy from the normal guy anyway, so she can also wear it. However, Milo is the one that needs it the most, so Milo is going to wear it. I don't remember if she can actually wear this though. I will try. If she can't, it's whatever. She can't. Okay. But she also didn't need it more than he did. Oh boy, you jackasses. Now it is worth noting that the mod developer at least gave a public version of all of the items dropped by monsters, so I don't have to go looking those up in my quest for getting information. So that is going to save a considerable portion of time. It's not super enjoyable to do it either, but I would have done it. I've done it for both the main version of the game and also for Battle Edition, so there was no way I wouldn't have done it as well. But yeah, if you're gonna come through here, make sure you have an angel feather, because those Triclops can easily drain you past the point of being able to cast Aggress. And I do have an angel feather, so we will be fine. Here's our green version of the Skeletar. He's feeling green these days. I didn't have any abilities I'd seen him do, but I do think he can poison on hit. That is what he can normally do in the base game. Oh good, at least you guys showed up. So let's push down the skeletons a bit. Of course, you have fun, enjoy your bus catching. I believe in you. You'll fit that whole bus in your pocket in no time. So this is probably about the halfway point of danger for this dungeon, so... This is actually where our friend Gilla lives. We're not going to actually go down this way either. He's going to join us for the final battle eventually, whenever we get that far. So... For now, he can chill out in the dungeon. He can have a good time being lost. It's what he loves. He loves just being trapped in there forever, so... We wouldn't want to take that from him. Yeah, I mean, I know we're not getting any information on the pumpkin guides, but we will be back again when we actually come back to get the information on what the chest beaks can do, and when we get the items behind the locked gates of the mystic rope and the prison door. I don't remember which way is actually progression, but I guess it's the other one. Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, now we can map the rest of it and not have to worry about it being back something we have to backtrack from. Well, these guys are gonna run from us, so this is gonna be exciting. There we go. Hey, here's one we don't have yet. So these guys I don't have the EXP and gold values for, but what I remember writing for them is that they could do sleeping powder. I had thought maybe they had something fancier, like they could just soul us. That isn't what I saw from them, though. But they give us 44 and 44. Cool. And that still puts them where I had them on the list. Nice. Yeah, for now I'm just confirming what I'd had written from my previous version on where they were, so I don't have to collect new data for the most part. So left is the way to the end. Yeah, maybe we are just gonna finish the dungeon right now. I thought we'd have to come back again. But that's a maybe. Like, if we get hit pretty hard, it could also end up being a problem. Also, if we get sleeped, it could also be really bad, but they didn't do it. But that's confirmation that they tried to. So, that is information. Okay, so the only things that we don't have confirmation are on is from the Violus. Okay, we'll be back for that in a while. Now the death guides are the more dangerous ones because putting people to sleep will lead to a lot of damage potentially. mean, I guess at least we've mostly trimmed them down so they can't do it for much longer. This is giving us a chance to find out if the Skeletars can do anything, though. So far, I haven't noted anything that they can do other than attack. I haven't seen them poison anyone or do any other status ailment or critical hit. So far they just seem to hit pretty hard. Which is fine. They also have a decent amount of hit points, so they are a little harder to kill than some of the other enemies. We are gonna try to finish this, although if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and we'll push back through. Like this ain't a race, so this right here. I think neither of these actually lead to the end. These are treasure or dead ends. Yep. So this is dead end. This one is treasure. I think we are right around the end from the end. Now, this was a close adventure. So we'll heal up a little bit. Oh look, we get to be run away from again. This is gonna be exciting. This is even more exciting. This is 50% more exciting. Okay. Well, look at you being here, Violus. These guys can cast Blaze level 2, so they're kind of a pain. They're also reasonably tanky. Let's get ready to figure out what they give for EXP. So we got 124 and 117. So the two skeletons we fought. So these guys give 44 EXP. That part's easy. And 41 gold. Is that correct? Yes, so this would actually bump them up to being before the death guides. So I will move their location accordingly. Cool. All right. And there we have it. We have made it to the end of the trial. Fantastic. Blam, trial pass strength. So here we are. We don't have much resources left, but we can at least poke our nose in. We have about 5 MP to spare, so I'm not going to take the shortcut this time, but there is a shortcut that leads through the magic nonsense, so we can do some of the rest of the exploration. Let's try to kill the Vile Oozes first, see if we can avoid the spell cast on us. At least. If not, we'll be going back real quick. Well, we're not gonna get another attack, unfortunately, with the main character, so it's not gonna let us kill the Vile Oozes this turn. At least they don't do a ton of damage to most other characters. Would be pretty cool if someone woke up though. That would be nice. We are getting nibbled to death, which is a problem. I guess we're not going to be able to do much more exploration. This is probably as far as we can safely go. Fair enough. This is an example of how sleep can be a pretty rough one sometimes. If you just get unlucky like that, you can get nibbled to death without any recourse. But it didn't quite happen like that, although the main character did almost die. But we have 5,000 gold to play with, so yeah, that's nice. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to go in and out of this place until we get some of the deals. As he drops 2 deals that will really help us. At this point I'd accept either one. Okay, I don't want this one. I'll be honest, that's the one I don't want. For one thing, we can't afford it. It's just a random chance for him to offer it to you if he can. There we go. So Morningstar is good. I'm gonna see if he gave me the other one. So yeah, there is another option he can offer, which would be the Thorn Whip, which is the one I do want. I technically have enough to buy it, so I technically want to get it. Unless the price changed, but I'll find that out when he offers it. We can afford the Morningstar. The Morningstar is a pretty good choice. So if the Thorn Whip shows up and it's outside my price range, that's whatever. Oh, well, didn't mean to leave, but... You know you want to offer us the Thorn Whip. You know you want to do it. There we go. So yeah, 5,000 is a bargain for the best weapon that Pyra can use. For a while. I kind of jumped the gun. I don't think anyone else can use it, but we do have to check that. Nope, you can't use it. That's fine. You can't use it either. That's what I thought. So this one will hit every enemy in a group, but the other thing is that it also has more damage than her current weapon, so even if it didn't hit every enemy in a group, it's still better than any other weapon she can use right now. So yeah, we can drop this in here and get a little bit of our gold back. We can also sell the main gosh that we got that we don't need. We can also sell this fur robe that no one can use. Yeah, let's see what we have for gold to work with. So the other Morning Star would be 4,000. Our current saber would sell for 750. So that's 2,300. I kind of don't want to buy too much at this moment because we're going to actually be replacing nearly everything. Like, I'd rather to get that first, so I'll probably just end up diving in next stream to get that before I buy anything for armor, because it won't matter. But yeah, let's give a nice save to the game. We've largely equipped ourselves of what we're currently going to. And then I'll talk about what I thought about the first trial. So yeah, the balancing of this first trial was done pretty well. So let me look at the data on this. So at the end of the first area, the strongest enemy, the Killer Bee, was giving 18 EXP and 18 gold. I want to say in the base game, it is approximately half of that. So it gives about twice as much as it did originally. By the end of this first trial, the strongest enemy that is normal would be the Death Guide. That was giving 44 EXP and gold, so it's only about twice as much as the end of the first little area, so that's a decent progression. I do feel like this is also significantly less than the battle edition. I can actually look that up if I wanted to. Although that will take me a second to get to. Bear with me as I do that, so that I can talk about it with more accuracy. It's just a different document. Because I have it written what every one gives me. So at the end of the first area, the strongest enemy was the vampire, which actually gave less EXP than the Darkness Edition. By not much. Like the strongest one gave 13 and 15. No, actually it was 15 and 17. So very slightly less. But the end of the first area here, the trial, the strongest enemy that was normal would be the Demi-White, which is not normally in the first area, by the way. Like, that is a transplant. So that one gives 109 EXP and 40 gold. So the gold isn't significantly more, but the EXP is. But what I will note about the Battle Edition is that it actually, everything in it costs at least 3 to 4 times as much. Some of them are closer to 10 times as much. So having more gold is absolutely necessary just to buy the stuff in it. So there's that. So the fact that this is a much smoother progression is actually pretty nice. I'd say it looks like it's about almost like a half to like a 50% of what that one did. That speed ran it along. I don't remember my base values for the main game, but I know that it's probably at least 50% higher than it. I feel like I've consistently been like 2 levels, maybe 3 levels higher, which is a nice little margin, considering that everything is a little bit harder as well. So yeah, that balance is nice. The main glaring issue is the one I said before, is that the bronze armor, which is probably what you'll be getting to in this region, does not in fact give any validation for its cost over the main Gosh, which has the same exact defense in this version as it, but also adds attack. And at least this trial didn't actually get as far into the poison as it could have. So it's a little less of a reliance to that over the starting area, which is nice. I do feel like some of the enemies could use a bit of a buff in terms of the damage that they do, like, or at least abilities. Like the Neanderthal, I didn't notice an ability on. Same thing with the Skeletar. So if they have an ability, it is fairly well hidden. I do also wanna note that the Battle Edition kind of mixed its attacks up. It gave them abilities that didn't do damage sometimes to add some variety to what they did. So while they're on average far more dangerous, sometimes they didn't actually do damage at all, which gave a nice randomness to it. So like if you had an encounter that was sometimes hard and sometimes not, you don't know what's going on, so you have more variety, which I thought was a change of pace. So you may want to like add some more abilities and stuff just to things if you rebalance things down the line, or do a different version of this, like a new mod hack of the game. Maybe consider that as a balancing option for it, because it would break up what happens instead of you just knowing the one thing that they're going to try to do to you and working around that. Because like if you know exactly what they're going to do, they're just a solved puzzle. There's no chance to the encounter. I mean, I guess the chance would be like if you critical hit or not as the only options to it, or whether you completely miss. I guess that's an option too. But yeah, because like if I was to show you like the ability list of the Battle Edition for some of them, like even in this Cave of Strength, the Monstrosity, which is kind of like the Hydraxes from the next dungeon, have the ability to do sleeping powder, paralyze powder, poison powder, sleep on hit, and paralysis on hit, and sleep on, and poison on hit. So they have the ability to do 6 different things every time they attack. So you don't know how that's going to go. The Poltergeists, which are the equivalent of the Dark Hermits with a different name, have the ability to cast Sleep level 1. They could cast an attack spell Blast level 1 on you, or they could draw their robe, which just raises their defense so they take half damage. So like you didn't know what they were gonna do. But yes. Otherwise, I have really been enjoying this. I also want to point out that maybe for variety, not just change the colors of things. If you were to redo this, maybe change their names up a little bit. Like, unless you're going for the nostalgia of people knowing where they are in the dungeon. Like, if you're feeding on nostalgia, fair enough. But if you want to make it feel fresh, not just new colors, I'd recommend new names as well, or maybe like move different types of enemies in, because the battle edition did it. I don't know like the modding side of this, but this was done a long time ago by them, so I did note that they also commented on my previous video, so they're probably also active in the Shining forums as well. So like maybe you could ask them how they did that if you didn't know how to do that. It is probably something that could be done without too much trouble now, if I was to guess. But yeah, no, this is a great way to play it. I do appreciate what has been done, and I will continue. And yeah, this is gonna be the end of this stream for now, and I will catch you guys next time. Take care, and bye-byes.